Welcome to this video on formatting cells in Microsoft Excel. So this is part of our Microsoft Excel basic series. In previous videos, we looked at getting started with Excel and how to create your first workbooks and worksheets and add basic data and use Excel as a calculator. We then had a look at cells, columns and rows, adding and deleting them, changing the size of them, freezing the panes, looking at the filters and merging and things like that. So in this video, we're going to have a look a little bit more around formatting. We're going to look at the different number and text formats. We'll look at aligning text a little bit more. We did some of that in the previous video. Copy formatting and then borders and colours and shading as well. So a few things we're going to have a quick peek at. So I've got the same information that I had available in the previous two basics videos. You can see I've got some names and numbers on the screen. So just to explain these, when you enter information in Excel, it recognizes what you've put in there. So if you've put letters in there like John Smith, you can see that's aligned to the left-hand side of the column. But numbers are always aligned to the right-hand side of the column, so that it recognizes the difference between the two of them, and it will automatically do that. Now, obviously, you can change that, but you always want numbers to be recognized as a number so you can use the functions, the formulas, the calculations, the things like that. But you can align other text in whatever way you want it to. So let's just have a look at the formats here. So if I click on John and right click, what I want to do towards the bottom is click on format cells. Let's just have a look at format cells. And I'm going to bring this up nicely into the middle. So you can see here, I'm in format cells, and this is where I'm going to be in for quite a lot of this video, to be fair. And you can see I'm in the number tab, and I'm looking at the category that Excel has allocated to this cell. So it's a general category. General format cells have no specific number format. If I tell them it's a number, then what will happen is I can decide if I want 2 decimal places, 1 decimal place, 0 decimal places, when I do calculations and things like that. So if you do a calculation and you want a true full number back, or if you want to have 0.00, then you can add all of that stuff. You can define something as a currency and select the symbol, so you don't have to type that in for you. You can define things as dates and select the date format that works, the time, the percentage. Again, it's looking at decimal places, bit more scientific. You've also got text there. So if you select text, even if you put numbers in there, it'll be treated as text and you won't be able to properly do calculations and functions and formulas from that because it will not recognize it as a number. So just be really careful. You do have special and custom at the bottom as well. So let me leave this one as a text and click on OK. So you can see, let's just click on a number one and right click there and format the cells. And you'll see it's give me a general as well, that one. But this one I want a number. So it will recognise that it is a number, but you can go and format it so it knows exactly what you want it to do with it, which is quite useful. Like I said, even though Excel decides where it's going to align your information depending on what you put in there, you can go and change that alignment. And that is all in the Home tab, in the Home ribbon. And what I'm going to do is just quickly click on that drop down arrow that we did in the first video and always show the ribbon so that it's there for us, which is a bit easier because we're going to use a few of these functions. And I just want you to have a look at the alignment section because this is the one that we're going to have a look at a little bit more in this. So I'm clicked on this cell with a number 23 and you can see all it is at this moment is it's a bottom align. If I click on any others, again, it's automatically done the alignment for me. What I'm going to do is click on these hours, and then on the second row down, you have either we're going to left align the content, we're going to center the content, or we're going to right align. Now it is right aligned automatically, so let's center it. And you can see it's moved that into the center for me. So it's the middle one that you're going to be looking at. to either left, center, or right. The top alignment is aligning it within the cell, either top of the cell, middle of the cell, or bottom of the cell. Now, that's only relevant if you've got quite a big, wide cell there. Otherwise, you probably won't notice a massive difference, and you're only going to be really worried about left, center, or right aligning. Now, center or left aligning numbers is not going to affect any calculations or anything. You don't need to worry about that. It just looks aesthetically pleasing, maybe, to do it a slightly different way. So you've got some nice functions in there. What you also have is if I hover over this one, you've got an orientation option. So if you've got some really small columns, if you want to squeeze columns together, but you still want to be able to see information, you can use this to, if I click on that drop down, again, if you hover or you click, you're going to see lots more information. It's going to give you a really great example. You can align, you can angle your text, you can change it to vertical, you can rotate it, all sorts of really useful things. So let's click on angle anti-clockwise, and you can see there that it's pulled that in a little bit more. And then maybe I can just close that column and just squeeze it all in nicely. So you've got the ability to rotate text if you need to. I use that when I've got a number of rows that are telling me the same sort of detail, and maybe in column A I want to put a title against them so I know what I'm looking at. And maybe I've merged those cells and I want to use that. So a really nice option there that you can do. So in alignment, you can align your text left, center, right, top, middle, bottom, and you can also you can rotate and change the angle of your text as well. What you can also do, if you've done any changes, you can copy the formatting. And to copy the formatting, you're going to be looking for a little paintbrush type tool. And I'm in the Home tab, and it's on the left-hand side. It's in my clipboard section, and it's Format Painter. Now, if I click on any cell, so let's click on the Louise one, and I click on the Format Painter, what that's going to do is it's going to think of everything, all the alignment, all of the rotation, anything I've done to the text, which I've not done yet, and it's going to copy that onto my clipboard. And then when I select another cell, it's just going to paste that information in there, which is quite useful. So you don't have to do this to every cell. You don't even have to select every cell and make all the changes you want. You can copy the formatting, but it will keep the information in there the same. So that's quite useful. But let's go and have a look at some more formatting options. So we've looked at formatting the cells using the right click. We've looked at alignment. Now let's have a look in the font section. So again, I'm in the Home tab, I'm in the Home ribbon, and you can see I've got font options where I can select the font that I want and the size. So again, if I select multiple ones or one, I can go in here and select, let's just go for Arial. And maybe I want to make this a bit smaller, so let's go for 10. I can make them bold. I can make them italic. I can underline them. I can make the fonts bigger and smaller without having to go and change the numbers, which is quite useful. I can also change the font colour, so it will default to a colour, but if I want to click on the drop down, I can go in and change the colour to anything I want. And as you notice, as I'm scrolling around the colours, it will automatically show me what that looks like. So I get a bit of an indication of what's happening. And then the other two options in here are more about the cells themselves. So these options were all about the information you're putting in, but these last two, these borders and these colour, are all about the cells themselves. So let's just select the three on the left-hand side, and this pane is fill colour. So this is the colour that's going to be in my cells. So you can see the difference already now that I'm hovering. And let's just put an orange colour there. So you can change the colour of your cell. And what you can also do is put an outline in there, because you can see I've got different cells there. But it's just very faded at the moment, and when printed it wouldn't show that information. So if I select all of my cells, if I click and drag and select them all, and then I go to my border section, and click on the drop down, you can just see I've got all of my border options. And if I select all borders, you can see there it's looking a little bit weird. So I'm just going to move these two back to normal. There we go. Just unclicked off what I selected before. And now you can see I have columns. I have borders around all of my cells, all of my columns, all of my rows. I can see the information much easier because it's much more visible and it's showed there. I can now see where my data is. And if I go to File and Print, like we did in the first one, you can see, I know it's not very big on there, but you can see I have my borders. So it will print with borders, which is quite useful. It just makes it easier to see though on the screen. And these colour changes that I did, whether I did it to the text, whether I did it to the cell and the borders, again, if you, let's just type in some other details. So let's do Harry Stewart. If I select these two cells and use that format painter and select Harry Stewart, it's there, it's pulled all that down. So it's pulled the borders down, it's pulled the colours down, it's pulled the typeface changes, the fonts and stuff, all of that stuff, it will do really nice and easy. So when you're using Excel, you really want to go and play around with these to make sure. Obviously, I wouldn't leave a table looking like this. I've just done it to show you a few examples. You might have some specific branding colours or favourite colours that you might want to use. So you can go and have a play around with it. So remember, you've got some options when you right click to format your cells, but you also have options in the ribbon on the home tab, in the font section and in the alignment section. And also do remember you have the format painter, which is so useful. I use it all the time in my work. So that was formatting cells and part of the Microsoft Excel Basics series. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and let me know what videos you'd like me to record next.